Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my podcast. I know it's been a minute, but I'm back and I'm better. So, today's topic of the podcast is about being the villain in somebody else's story, even when you aren't truly the villain. So, this podcast was inspired by this video that I seen. And this lady, she was saying how she didn't mind being the villain in somebody else's story because they were the clown in hers. And it really just unlocked this new level of understanding for me because I've been labeled as the villain by so many people when I actually wasn't the villain. But when the lady was like, they are the clown in my story, it put so much into perspective because a lot of people that have been in my life and have villainized me have fooled themselves out of a good person, fooled themselves out of a good connection, fooled themselves out of true love. That's clown behavior. So, yes, they were the clown. And they also have tricked themselves into believing that they were not at fault. Trickery is clown behavior. So, yeah, that's what today's podcast is going to be about. And people will villainize you for several reasons. Number one, they'll villainize you out of jealousy and envy. Number two, they will villainize you because they can't have you. So that means they can't be your friend, they can't sleep with you, they can't be with you romantically, or they can't be your business partner, or simply they can't just have access to you and know your vulnerabilities. That'll make a person villainize you as well. And then lastly, it's because they're projecting and don't really see themselves accurately. You could be dealing with a person that just does very mean and horrible things, but will insist that they're a good guy, insist that they're a good person when they know that they're not. So we have to understand that, yes, sometimes we are going to be the villain, but guess what? They're the clown in our story. Anyways, I'm so excited to let you all know that we have a guest speaker. So, as I said, season 2, we're going to have a lot of guest speakers so that we can get different perspectives and opinions. So, today we have Miss Rainbow, and we're going to dive further into the topic of being the villain in a delusional person's story, okay? All right. Introducing Miss Rainbow. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm well. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, so I have some questions here that I would like you to answer because I really love and I really value your opinion here. So, my first question to you, Rainbow, is why do you think that people refuse to be self aware and create a fabricated version of themselves rather than facing the person who they really are in the mirror? Why is that?
Well, people often want to create these lies, but they believe they're truths in their eyes. So if you believe something is deeply true to you, cannot be questioned by anybody else. It can't be because you deeply believe it. So if they believe that they are who they say they are, despite what they really are, that's the thing right there. So I feel like it's hard for them to see them true selves in the mirror because who wants to really see, oh, well, I need to fix this. I need to work on that. They want to see good and bad, but they only want to see the good. So if you only want to see the good, the things that are bad, you're going to pretend that they aren't there, or you're going to just put them on somebody else. And that is why people project, because they feel like everything that they are, let's say it's you. Because then I don't have to deal with it because it's not me. I can pretend.
Exactly. I love that answer. And I love how you said that no matter what, if they believe something is true to them, it's going to be true regardless of if there's evidence that presents the contrary or evidence that presents the opposite. Okay. All right. That was a great answer. The next question is, why do people villainize others when the villain is really them? So I feel like you already answered this, but can you elaborate more for me?
So nobody willingly wants to be the villain, usually, right? Everyone wants to be the hero. They want to be the one that saves the day and putting it on the papers and things like that and seen in a great light, because most of the time the wonderful light is the beautiful light, the good light. But villains believe that they have some sort of good that they're actually doing, whether we think it's bad or not. So in their eyes, like I said, kind of in answer one, what they see, what they believe, what they think, what they are is kind of what they bring out into the world, despite what they encounter. Pretty much.
Okay.
It's a lot going on with these villains in the world, y'all. So y'all watch out.
Okay, I like that answer. Okay. So I agree with you. I feel like, you know, like you said, no one wants to really see themselves in that light. And then they do feel like, they're doing something good because, for example, there are people that will consider themselves to be like philanthropists. So like they're giving away stuff, but at the same time, they're at home being abusive to a partner. They're actually a villain, but because they're doing something that they perceive to be as good, charitable work, I'm a good person because of that. Like they think that what I do for others makes me a good person, but it really doesn't. It's how you treat people. It's not about what you do. It's about how you treat people, okay? But yeah, the next question that I have is, what presents people, not presents, I'm so sorry. What prevents people from being accountable, okay? What stops people from actually facing themselves and saying, hey, I know that I've been mistreating people. Let me do better. Like, what prevents that whole self-introspection?
These are really great questions, definitely. But I think it all comes down to good old pride. Good old pride. I feel like it comes down to that and just feeling like, well, my self-worth has to be always important and first and valued, regardless of what other people feel. And I think that a lot of times people in the world have become selfish, not because they feel like I'm the only one that matters, but because they feel like I've become to the point where I don't feel like I matter at all. So now nobody else matters. So I think that that's the hard part of it. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm getting off topic because I get the rambling, girl, but
no, these
questions are wonderful, Blossom. They definitely have you generating in the brain. So
y'all
should ask yourself these questions and ask your friends and coworkers and families and see what responses you get as well.
All right. So our last and final question is, how do you deal with being unfairly labeled the villain in somebody else's story? So let's say like you were an amazing partner. You were an amazing friend, but you have this person that when the connection is ending, they're going around town saying all these bad things about you, or they're doing it to people who you both have in your inner circle. How do you deal with, that you weren't the villain, but they want to cast you in that role? How do you deal with that?
Baby, listen, I'm a Capricorn, so it's Saturn for real. Like, I have this like grand understanding of things are gonna happen regardless in the world. Like they just are. It's unfair world and it's harsh and people are harsh, people are cruel. It's like I have just an understanding of all that. So I feel like when people try to make you the villain and you know that you're not, I'm okay with that. Because you know what? That's your version of the story. Everybody's just gonna be different. And I know deep down inside what the truth is. Not what your truth is, but what the truth is, because I'm not a villain. I've never treated you wrong. I was there for you. I was kind. Whatever you needed, I was able to give it to you. And if I wasn't, I found other ways to accommodate for what I couldn't give you. But at the end of the day, people are going to always have their own ideas of you, their own opinions of you, and their own perception of you about everything. So if we tried to control that, we'd never have enough time to do what we wanted to do for ourselves. So let people think how they think about you. Let them feel how they feel about you. Let them say what they say about you. Unless it's disrespectful and they putting their hands on you. Now that's a different story. But
right,
as in what they thinking, everybody has an entitlement to their own opinion, own feelings, thoughts. That's self. So if they feel like that, let them, regardless if it's true or not, because know yourself.
Period. I love how you said that. And also I just want to add to, like, if like you move with pure intentions, like you were saying, like you didn't do anything to hurt that person or betray that person, then don't even care if they try to villainize you, because you move with love. Like I said in the beginning, sometimes you're gonna have to accept that you are the villain in people's story, but guess what? They're the clown in yours. They're the clown in yours, because people, they don't want to see themselves clearly. It's like they want to see illusions. And guess what clowns do? They present illusions to you, right? Exactly. So That was the end of our podcast. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to have more of these, but we just wanted to get our gears turning with this topic. Comment down below and let us know what topics you would like. Rainbow, I would love to have you for another podcast, for another topic. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Oh no, I just want to thank you for having me. It was definitely a joy. And I think that these questions have even made me think about, well, how do people view me and
Right.
why? So thank you.
Of course. Alrighty, flower babies. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Peace.